Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters. When it comes to matters of the heart and marriage, one of the most profound questions many believers ask is, does Allah really choose our spouse for us? Is the partner we end up with a result of fate and divine will? Or is it purely our own choice and effort? This question touches the very essence of faith, destiny, and personal responsibility in Islam. Marriage is not just a social contract or a personal decision. It is a sacred bond deeply rooted in spirituality and divine decree. In Islamic teachings, the idea of destiny or Qadar plays a significant role in shaping every aspect of our lives, including who we marry. But how do we reconcile this with the fact that we are encouraged to seek, choose, and pray for the right partner? In this video, we will explore the balance between divine predestination and human free will in the context of choosing a spouse. We will look into Quranic verses, sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Islamic principles to understand how Allah's will interacts with our choices. Is your future spouse already written in the divine book? Or is your involvement decisive? Can prayer influence this sacred decision? These are questions that weigh on the hearts of many Muslims, seeking peace in knowing how much control they have over this important part of their lives. Before starting this video, do not forget to like this video, because it gives us a lot of strength to continue sharing beneficial content. And I invite you to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell to stay informed of our upcoming publications on the Islamic faith. Thank you and good video. Stay with me as we delve deep into this spiritual mystery. Because understanding whether Allah picks your spouse for you is not just about marriage, but about surrendering to divine wisdom and embracing the journey that leads to true companionship, blessing, and harmony. The Islamic concept of Qadr, divine destiny. To understand whether Allah chooses your spouse for you, we must first explore the Islamic concept of Qadr, or divine destiny. In Islam, Qadr is one of the 6 articles of faith, meaning every believer must acknowledge that Allah has knowledge and control over everything that happens in the universe. Nothing occurs without His will or permission. Qadr means that every event, from the smallest to the most significant, is written and predetermined by Allah in the preserved tablet, Al-Lawh al-Mahfuz. This includes not only the timing of our birth and death, but also the major events of our lives, such as whom we marry. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The pens have been lifted, and the pages have dried." This signifies that everything is recorded and set by divine decree. However, understanding Qadr does not mean we are passive in life. Rather, it highlights the coexistence of divine planning and human effort. While Allah's knowledge encompasses everything, humans still have the responsibility to make choices, seek what is good, and strive to fulfill their desires in permissible ways. Marriage, in this framework, is both a divine decree and a personal journey. Allah's wisdom decides who is best suited for each individual. But this does not exclude the effort of finding, knowing, and choosing the spouse. It means that ultimately, the right partner will come at the right time according to Allah's plan. This divine orchestration is meant to bring peace to the believer's heart, knowing that no matter the hardships or delays, Allah's wisdom is at work behind the scenes. Trust in Qadr encourages patience and faith during the search for a spouse, reminding us that what Allah has written will always be the best for us. In the following sections, we will explore how this concept is reflected directly in the Quran and Hadith, guiding us to a deeper understanding of divine involvement in marriage. Evidence from the Quran on divine choice and destiny. The Quran provides clear guidance on the role of divine will in every aspect of life, including marriage. It emphasizes that Allah is the ultimate planner and the one who determines the course of our lives. One of the key verses that highlights this is in Surah Ar-Rum 30:21. And among his signs is that he created for you from yourselves mates that you may find tranquility in them, and he placed between you affection and mercy. Indeed, in that are signs for a people who give thought. This verse shows that the union of spouses is not random, but a sign from Allah, an intentional act designed to bring peace and love. The use of "He created for you mates" reminds us that the choice of spouse is ultimately under divine control. Another verse in Surah Al-Furqan 25:54 states, "And it is He who has created from water a human being and made him a relative by lineage and marriage. And your Lord is competent concerning creation." Here, marriage is described as part of the divine creation process. It is Allah who designs the bonds that connect humans, including family and marital relationships. This reinforces the idea that the person you marry is not merely a chance encounter, but part of Allah's comprehensive plan. Moreover, Surah Al-Insan 76:2 says, "Indeed, we created man from a sperm drop mixture that we may try him, and we made him hearing and seeing." This reminds us that life, including its relationships, is a test from Allah. The spouse you are given is part of that test, and through this test, growth and spiritual elevation are possible. The Quran also calls believers to trust in Allah's plan and timing. And put your trust in Allah, and sufficient is Allah as disposer of affairs. Surah Al-Ahzab 33:3. This trust applies directly to marriage as well, teaching that while we make effort, the ultimate outcome rests with Allah's wisdom. In the next section, we will explore what the Hadith say about marriage and destiny, further clarifying how divine will and human action coexist. Hadiths on marriage and divine destiny. The teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, provide profound insight into the divine role in marriage, complementing what the Quran reveals about destiny and choice. One of the most significant hadiths related to marriage is found in Sahih al-Bukhari. "The marriageable women and men have been decreed for you, so that you may marry the women of the believers and the men of the believers." Bukhari. This indicates that the people we are destined to marry are already known and decreed by Allah. It affirms the belief that spouses are preordained, and the meeting between future partners is part of divine planning. Another important narration states, "There is no one among the Muslims who dies and who was destined to be married to a woman, but they meet and marry." Ahmad. This hadith reassures believers that if a spouse is destined for them, that marriage will happen regardless of circumstances. This does not negate the efforts one must make, but confirms that the divine decree will manifest in its perfect time. However, the Prophet also encouraged personal effort and seeking the right partner. When someone with whose religion and character you are satisfied asks for your daughter in marriage, then marry her to him. Tirmidhi. This hadith teaches that while the decree is divine, human choice and wisdom remain essential. We must seek partners with good character and piety, balancing faith and action. Additionally, the Prophet, peace be upon him, recommended prayer and supplication to Allah for guidance in marriage. A woman may be married for 4 reasons: her wealth, her lineage, her beauty, and her religion. So marry the religious woman, otherwise you will be unsuccessful. Bukhari, Muslim. This advice encourages placing trust in Allah's wisdom and praying for a spouse who will bring spiritual benefit. These teachings collectively highlight the harmony in Islam between divine destiny and human responsibility in marriage. The spouse is written in the divine decree, but the believer's role includes searching wisely, praying sincerely, and trusting Allah's plan. Next, we will explore the vital role of dua, or prayer, in influencing and seeking the right spouse. The role of dua, prayer, in seeking your spouse. In Islam, dua, the act of sincere supplication, is one of the most powerful tools a believer has to seek Allah's guidance and blessings in all matters, including marriage. While Allah's knowledge and decree are absolute, dua is a direct connection between the believer and their Creator, a way to ask for what is best according to divine wisdom. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Dua is the essence of worship." Tirmidhi. This means that making heartfelt requests to Allah is not only a spiritual act, but also a recognition of our reliance on Him for everything. When it comes to marriage, dua is a way to express our desire for a righteous spouse, someone who will be a source of peace, love, and support. One famous dua that the Prophet taught is, "O Allah, I ask you for the best of her and the best of what you have created for her." This prayer demonstrates trust in Allah's wisdom to provide the best spouse, even if that is not what the believer initially imagines. It acknowledges that the Creator knows better what is truly beneficial and lasting. Moreover, dua helps to cultivate patience and surrender. While waiting for the right spouse or navigating challenges, continuous prayer is a reminder that Allah is in control, and the right partner will come in the perfect time. Islam encourages believers to combine dua with effort, seeking marriage through halal means, meeting people and making wise choices, while leaving the outcome to Allah. This balance is crucial. Trust in destiny does not mean passivity, but active reliance on Allah through prayer and action. The power of dua also extends beyond seeking a spouse. It prepares the heart and soul for the responsibilities of marriage. It asks Allah to strengthen faith, grant wisdom, and foster compassion, qualities essential for a successful partnership. In the following section, we will discuss how human free will and effort coexist with divine destiny in the journey to finding a spouse. Human effort and free will in the divine plan, while Islamic teachings affirm that Allah's decree governs all aspects of life, including marriage, there remains a vital role for human effort and free will. Islam encourages believers to actively participate in their life journey, including the search for a spouse, while fully trusting in Allah's wisdom. This balance between divine destiny, Qadar, and personal responsibility is essential. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Tie your camel and trust in Allah." This hadith perfectly captures the principle. Do your part with sincerity and effort, then place your trust in Allah for the results. In the context of marriage, it means you should seek potential partners, evaluate their character and compatibility, and make wise decisions. Yet, the final outcome, whether you marry or not, whom you marry, is ultimately in Allah's hands. Human free will allows individuals to express their intentions, preferences, and values in choosing a spouse. It respects the importance of personal agency, maturity, and responsibility. Islam does not promote fatalism or passivity. Instead, it invites believers to combine proactive steps with faith. Additionally, this interplay between effort and destiny teaches humility. Even after putting forth our best efforts, we acknowledge that not everything is within our control. Sometimes, the path to finding a spouse takes unexpected turns, reminding us to remain patient and trust the divine plan. It's also important to recognize that through our efforts and choices, Allah's plan unfolds. Our decisions are part of the divine script, and our sincere actions can open doors to blessings and opportunities. In essence, Islam presents a dynamic relationship between destiny and free will in marriage. We engage in the search and preparation, praying and acting responsibly, while surrendering the ultimate outcome to Allah's perfect knowledge. Next, we will explore the signs and feelings that believers often experience as indications of Allah's hand in their choice of spouse. Signs that indicate divine choice in your spouse. For many believers, recognizing that Allah has chosen their spouse can come through subtle signs and deep inner feelings. While the external search and human effort are important, the heart's peace and certain divine indications can reveal that a particular person is meant for you. One of the clearest signs is a profound sense of tranquility and comfort when you are with or think about the person. The Quran says in Surah Ar-Rum 30:21, "And among his signs is that he created for you from yourselves mates, that you may find tranquility in them." This peace is not just emotional but spiritual. It resonates deeply in the soul and reassures you that this connection is blessed. Another indication is the presence of mercy and affection between the couple, also highlighted in the same verse. If love grows in kindness, patience, and mutual respect, it's a strong sign of divine blessing. Often, believers feel a sense of ease and facilitation in matters related to their relationship, such as smooth communication, timely opportunities to meet, and guidance in making important decisions. These moments of divine facilitation can be understood as Allah opening doors and guiding hearts. A third sign is a growing awareness that the person's faith, character, and values align with Islamic teachings and your personal spirituality. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized choosing a spouse for their religion and character, as these qualities build a strong foundation for a blessed marriage. Sometimes, dreams, repeated positive signs, or advice from trusted and knowledgeable individuals who pray for you can also be subtle ways Allah confirms His choice. Recognizing these signs requires sensitivity, patience, and sincere prayer. It also calls for wisdom, balancing emotional feelings with a rational judgment and consultation. Understanding these divine indicators helps believers trust the path laid before them, allowing their hearts to rest in the knowledge that Allah's choice will lead to a partnership filled with blessing, growth, and mercy. Personal stories and examples of divine choice. Throughout Islamic history and in the lives of many believers today, there are countless stories that illustrate how Allah's divine plan unfolds in the choice of a spouse. These personal accounts reinforce faith in the divine orchestration behind marriage. One famous example is the story of the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, own marriages. Each marriage served a purpose beyond companionship, strengthening social bonds, offering protection, or exemplifying moral virtues. His life shows us that marriage is deeply connected to divine wisdom and broader communal benefits. In more personal experiences, many believers share testimonies where, despite all human doubts and obstacles, the right partner appeared unexpectedly, sometimes after years of searching or through unusual circumstances. These moments often come after sincere prayer and reliance on Allah, affirming the truth of divine destiny. For example, a young woman might have been worried about finding a spouse due to societal pressures or personal setbacks. Yet, through patient dua and continued effort, she meets someone whose character and faith perfectly align with hers, someone who brings peace and blessing into her life. This confirms that Allah's timing and choice are perfect, even if the path seemed uncertain. Similarly, stories abound of couples who initially doubted their match but, with time and patience, discovered that their marriage was a source of immense spiritual growth and mercy, something only Allah could have planned. These real-life examples encourage believers to trust the process, keep faith alive, and understand that marriage is not just a human affair but a sacred unfolding of divine will. Reflect on your own journey or those around you. Have you witnessed moments where the hand of Allah seemed clearly present in bringing two people together? Such reflections strengthen hope and inspire deeper submission to the divine plan. Common misconceptions about Allah's role in choosing your spouse. When discussing whether Allah picks your spouse, it's important to address some common misconceptions that can cause confusion or anxiety among believers. First, some think that if Allah has already chosen their spouse, they don't need to make any effort to find a partner. This is not true in Islam. The faith encourages active seeking, wise decisions, and sincere prayers. Divine destiny works alongside human responsibility, so effort and trust go hand in hand. Another misconception is that fate means everything will happen exactly as we expect or want. In reality, Allah's plan may differ from our desires. Sometimes, what is destined for us may not match our initial hopes, but it will always be what is best for our spiritual growth and happiness, even if it takes time to understand. Some believers fear that if they don't marry the perfect person immediately, it means Allah has rejected them or that their faith is weak. Islam teaches patience and trust, reminding us that delays or difficulties are tests, not punishments. Allah's wisdom is infinite, and what comes at the right time is a mercy, not a curse. There's also confusion between predestination and fatalism. Fatalism implies passivity and giving up control, but Islam rejects this. Predestination acknowledges Allah's knowledge and control, but demands active effort, prayer, and moral responsibility. Lastly, some assume that Allah only chooses spouses for special people, but divine decree applies equally to every believer. Whether one's journey is easy or challenging, the spouse meant for them is already written in Allah's knowledge. Understanding these clarifications helps believers maintain a balanced, hopeful outlook. It encourages engagement in the process with faith, patience, and wisdom, trusting that Allah's plan for marriage is always perfect and full of mercy. Conclusion and spiritual advice on surrendering to Allah's will. As we reflect on whether Allah chooses your spouse, the journey reveals a delicate balance between divine decree and human responsibility. Understanding that your future partner is part of Allah's divine plan can bring peace to the heart, even amid uncertainty and waiting. True submission in Islam means entrusting your affairs to Allah with full faith, knowing that His wisdom surpasses all human understanding. The search for a spouse requires patience, prayer, effort, and trust. It is a spiritual journey as much as a practical one. Remember the Prophet's guidance to seek partners for their faith and character, and couple this with sincere dua, asking Allah for what is best, even if it differs from your own desires. Let your heart remain open to the possibilities Allah sets forth. When challenges or delays arise, view them as tests to strengthen your faith and prepare you for a blessed union. Trust that what Allah has decreed is the best for you, designed to bring mercy, tranquility, and growth. Lastly, embrace the process as a form of worship, where reliance on Allah deepens your connection with Him. Whether your path to marriage is straightforward or filled with trials, surrendering to Allah's will transforms the experience into a source of spiritual blessing.